Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Karaoke Andi here. And it's my absolute honor and pleasure to be here with you, trading the DAX and maybe the FTSE in Trader Tom Hougaard's trading room. Well. So, disclaimer, this is no financial advice, only for educational purposes. Trading involves risk and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always conduct your own research before trading. This stream and its recording is for educational purposes only. This stream is governed by the stipulations set out on the website tradertom.com, tradertom.com/disclaimer. So, a little reminder, we are in the holiday schedule. Usually, Tom trades here every day, right? And I trade on Wednesdays. But this week, I'm flying solo. I do both the EU and US sessions. And from Monday, let's see, was a long break, but it's scheduled that you get Tom for a whole week flying solo, and I get some days off, and then Tom has some announcements. All right. This is the DAX, and the DAX closed yesterday at 26,266.1. And I marked for you here the previous session high, overnight high, previous session low, and overnight low. And I want to trade the espresso using a 19-point offset. Here this box, see, has a height of 19 points, just using it as a spacer. The espresso, at least how I trade it in the DAX, involves bracketing the price action of 8.55 to 9, with 9 being the Frankfurt open, cash session open. We go long above, short below, and we use a rather sizable offset because 9 a.m. also marks the end of the opening auction. There is a lot of initial price discovery back and forth. It's not easy to trade the open. So yeah, so this is just helping me to guide it's a rather small 5-minute candle. Yeah, that just helps me to guide my visually my order lines, so I don't need to sit there and do something like this. Oh, the high is 26,280.9 plus 19 is 26,299.9. You know, because that bar is still expanding in either direction, and it's just easier to use that as a ruler. You see, you can just click, boom, that's the long order. Boom, that's the short order. Yeah. If you don't see what I'm doing, there's a YouTube live stream going on. Click on that. I used to screenshot those entries. The problem is during the last seconds, that bar, you see, is still moving, and I need to make adjustments to the order. Here you go. 3, 2, 1. So, quite comfortable with that. Okay, maybe now I can safely screenshot that. Post it here. There we go. DAX yesterday eventually found support in Friday's session high and moved higher, but only after a retest. And to me, on a higher time frame, that looks indeed like a reversal pattern, like some inverted head and shoulders. If you remind me, I will show you. Can't hear anything, buddy. Yeah, well. There you go. I can assure you, I unmuted myself. This fucking Telegram fucking piece of shit technology, sorry, but it really is. You know, it's unreliable. I have to talk to Tom about it. This Telegram streaming is just shit. Sorry. There's two options here. There's YouTube and there is zero latency or low latency streaming with Divergent, which by the way costs a lot of money. So I don't know why do we need to also stream audio to Telegram. It's just annoying. You know, you create their live stream together with 2 other streaming outlets, right? So, and then you need to unmute your fucking microphone. And then you do that, and then a couple minutes later, you know, some bozo writes you, Andi, we can't hear anything. Yeah, sorry, it's not my fault. I run into that shit every day. Man, I hate Telegram. So, and you know what I also would love is that we get filled in the espresso and finally make some points here. Okay. Have to switch to Karaoke Espresso. Or maybe not. Ah, we're short now. Short the DAX. DAX short. And now Telegram. There you go. Okay. We just barely got activated. You see that? Okay. This is not my preferred scenario. Would rather have it working immediately. 26,292.12. You see, that's why a large offset is important, right? If we just would be a tick below here, then we wouldn't need to puke through this position right now. So I put stop loss, moved stop loss down. And I changed the long order to flip. Yeah. It's one of those cases where you wish you wouldn't be activated there. Maybe we need a point more offset. Know how many chances we get to get out of this. I probably take my loss here. Closing DAX for -12. So why did I do that? Because well, of this of the fact that we may have just found support at previous session low, and the overall context for today is bullish. So okay. Oh, FTSE printed the first bar negative. That would have been activated. Not sure I would have. Well, but it would be been positive now. Not interested in a second touch though. We'll leave that alone. It hasn't been the most reliable technique lately. Okay, the first bar relatively indecisive, but the bear body, we filled the gap, which was the tiniest, was almost a neutral opening. And now the second bar is an inside bar. So should we get a second touchdown here? Might be willing to take a short position again. So Okay, tell you what, I will delete all orders. So let's wait a little bit. Okay, now DAX seems to head lower. Overnight low coming in at 20 to 6.4. So let me show you the 1 hour chart. Maybe 4 hour. You can see that a little better. So what it lacks is a distinctive shoulder here. So, right. So this is what I'm seeing. I don't trade like that anymore, but I can't unsee it. We only always see on a chart what we trained our eyes to see ever. And yeah, and this is could be an inverted head and shoulders. And the way how you would trade that is you would find the neckline and then which looks something like that, right? So, and then you would buy, stop loss down here, or if you want to have less risk, under the right shoulder, which of course at that point you don't, do you really know whether that is a shoulder or just, you know, will it continue to meander and be in a trading range? So that's the thing. Also, the left shoulder here is, you need some imagination. But hey, that's what it is. So now many lines on my screen. I prefer I have absolutely nothing on my screen. Doing that all for you guys. So. Okay. We're still printing bear bars. However, here seems to be some support. but clearly bears are in control. So far, bar 1 and bar 3 tapped into support, and buyers pushed the bodies back up, right? Now bears attempting again. And yeah, at one point they might succeed, right? So maybe now. Overnight low comes in here at 22.6.4. Believe I said that. Previous session low at 249.7. 249.7, yes. So okay, look at that. The first bar negative so far would have provided us with a nice profit. If we took it. Okay. I have the feeling DAX wants to head lower. So far, no initiative from buyers at all. But so far, support also holds. There. The bears are trying to make new lows. Bulls push the candle body back up, making it smaller. Now we almost got a color change. Yesterday, some gentleman was like, don't, or was it on Monday? Why do you say bulls and bears? I just use it synonymously for buyers and sellers, right? We all know who the market participants are. Mm-hmm. Okay. 7.9, 8.9. Yep, made a new low. There you go. Now what? I will take the ASRS in case we get there. Probably we get away with a smaller stop loss. On the opposite side is a little bit small. 25 point in the DAX, it's not it's not 2019 anymore. Even though that is technically the invalidation point, probably risk 40. So Another sell order in the DAX. Could have already been short, but I prefer to have a little bit more confirmation. FTSE is coming back down. Now I wouldn't be interested in taking this signal, rather do the opposite. This looks more like a pullback and we might get a second leg down. So FTSE seems to be easier to trade this morning. Hi Andy, why did not you buy first bar positive FTSE 100? Because I was messing around here with the espresso and didn't pay attention. So we got short in the DAX. There we go. On an ASRS. Stop loss is 26,276.1. Right now we're at support. Should have been a great target for the espresso. Now we are short again, but with a little bit more confirmation. So now trading below overnight low. Where's my... Oh, that means... Should we accept below here? There is nothing anymore, right? Okay. Moving stop loss to 26,262. There you go. FTSE seems to be weak. Thought I wanted to explain to you. Second touch always not interested in second touches, right? Buyers should be stepping in below first bar. That's the first bar negative. And we got follow through on bar 3. And then again sellers stepped in, and guess what? This to me looks more like now a downtrend, with this being a swing high within the pullback. Now we're making lower lows. So, and DAX, we need to accept that we're now at the bottom of the price action here. In between cash sessions. Okay, didn't close below the overnight low, just dipped below. Guess we have to wait. And guys, I don't take those signals religiously. I take them very often when I trade with you because they appear reliably at a certain point in time where we are together. So they give us structured points in time where we have some information, and that lets us interact with the market. That's how I use Tom's entry techniques. But I try to always look at context. So in case you don't see what I see. Okay, those drawing tools are really almost like Telegram. I see something like this. Huh? So and if we project this leg down, yeah, we would get to, I don't know, 861. If it's an equal distant one, right? So see if you get a close below. So very clear what's happening on the 50-minute chart. If we are closing below all of those levels here, yeah, we might be in for a larger move down. So where could that get us? Here's support. One 175 definitely. You know that this year, that Friday high was significant. The market tried to break through here twice, then eventually did yesterday, came back, found support, and then took off. So to me, that level is significant. Let's make it green so we know. Let's make it big. So I will add on the Skuran, putting an order there. We bears managed to close below everything. So $50 points stop loss seems to put the stop loss directly at the invalidation point. Come on, bears! Sell the shit out of the DAX. There we go. Boom. Edit. Okay. Don't want to be greedy. So, guess if we get there, that's a nice profit. And we can still decide what to do with it. Some gentleman says support will come on 194 U-turn there. Okay. $96.9 is not 94, but very close, right? So Shinzi says, hey legend, I have a question I've been pondering on for a while. When adding two positions in CFD trading, it opens a separate order, but when adding in futures, it increases the same position size and therefore moves your entry closer to the price action, makes it harder to protect yourself by having break-even stop as you can in CFDs. You would be able to move stop loss on first, second, third, etc. orders to break even as I keep adding, but in futures I just keep moving your entry closer to the current price and therefore raising the stress level. Well, I didn't trade so much futures. I think I know what you mean. It's also, it was showing rather the something like this, like the aggregate, right? Which I can simulate here. So this is like the average entry here. But maybe that's also just a setting. I mean, those must still be individual contracts, no? Anyway, maybe a retest from yesterday's picture. Yeah, it's what I'm hoping. Want to trade the retest, Robert, my friend? Want to get out there? Johan, it's just first bar negative on the DAX, so trades alongside. It doesn't work like that. The FTSE is a different animal. So you see, we got our second leg here in the FTSE. Would have been easier to trade the FTSE, right? Fuck it. It's, sometimes I don't claim to have the best read on the market or to be the best in price action or whatever. But when I call it, and don't pull the trigger on it, what good is it, right? What good is it? So Bruce, can you explain the difference? You said you were not interested in the second touch in UK 100, but in DAX you said you were thinking about going short again at the second touch at the espresso entry short. Yes, brother, because you have to think in terms of support, right? If the market revisits an old low, because it's sometimes a double bottom, yeah, and you can trade that, right? You can be like, okay, it might reverse here. So, and then it reverses a little bit, but then it comes down to that level. So at that point, you have to ask yourself, is that still the same story? Is that still support? Because buyers were not able to hold price up and push the reversal forward, right? So at that point, it's maybe much more likely, of course, always depending on context, but much more likely that support will not hold. That's why I wanted to be short the DAX and not long anymore the FTSE. Yeah, same. Hope that helps. Just a friendly tip, if you hover your mouse over the line on your chart and press delete on the keyboard, you don't need to right click on each one. Yeah. Well. Wow. You nerds, you have it all figured out, huh? I would just love if that would just break down further. Oh, fuck. We have to be careful. Now we have some exposure here. It's not so bad, right? This is a combined stop loss 50 and 26.4, that's 76.4. I stopped myself out on the espresso for minus 12. So worst case. Under 100 points. You know, I personally, I don't add to losing positions. So if the position is in the green, even though we pulled back from the second entry here, I still sometimes add, but in this case, no. Whoa. DAX is staging a comeback here. Guys, I want to adjust a tiny little bit. Don't be mad at me. But I want that stop loss to be just above. Just above. Phew. What the fuck was there? Believe in support and the resistance. There is something. So, profit taking from bears who sold below first 15-minute bar. They got a perfect measured move, Andy. You are a smart ass, my friend. Measured move from where? You realize this cash session is just 44 minutes old. So where's the measured move? Right? So. So it's so easy after the fact, right? To write something like that at 9:43. If you sold below bar 1 on 15-minute chart, stop above, you got a 1-1. That's not a measured move, pal. No, I don't measure it. If I don't, I really, it's just a stupid, sorry, it's just a stupid comment of yours. You don't know what's going to happen. You're just smart after the fact, right? So check your attitude, man. Seriously. Okay, CJ is a little bit, he was like, don't worry, we will go lower. I'm with you. Well, in all fairness, we might reverse up, but the thing is also, we have 2 bear bars. Second bear bar closed near its lows, below previous session low, below overnight low. So we have a classical school run. In in a cash context that is right now very bearish. But yeah, then we had bar number 3, made a new low and closed near its highs. We have bar number 4, which is not very old, but already superseded the previous bar. So now the age-old question, pullback or reversal? So After Market Wizards, right? New book. Yeah, so we have to take into consideration that it's going fast now. So, hey, Andrea, my friend, buongiorno. Yeah, guys. Fuck. That's reversing. So, okay. That's reversing. It's reversing hard. I hope this old support becomes resistant story is true. Because overnight low didn't really. Previous session low might offer that. Stop loss not far away. So if this is a shakeout, then it better be over soon. And if it's already reversing, then missed the opportunity to get out. Yeah. That sucks. Stand by to flip long. Okay. Have to maybe ease off a little bit. Maybe I don't need to. Okay. Closing my first entry. Putting in an order to flip long on the school run. So if you add to your winners and then it reverses, then you have to make decisions that are sometimes painful, because you just, in my case, doubled your exposure, right? So if that gets you stopped out, you take 2 full hits. So yeah, I just closed that at a small digestible loss rather than when both get stopped out. However, if you get back to entry down here, I have no problems of doubling up again. Okay. Not an easy session, ladies and gentlemen. And in the FTSE, might even get a third leg down. Unless this story here is true. You know. Problem is with diagonal lines, you always include your bias. So there's still room for a shorter third leg, right? So however, if the DAX stages a comeback, the FTSE might follow. So Thank you very much. That is very generous. Michelle just gifted me 3 months Telegram premium. Okay. Never received a gift. Thank you very much, I guess. Okay, so. So, Don Quingshot says, is of the opinion that doubling up only if your initial stop loss is at break even? No. It's not how Tom trades. Tom just adds very aggressively and not having anything at break even, right? So let me see. I might be overstepping, but this is just to show you. So you see that stake size here? See that that's from Tom? See that? So no. Tom has an exceptional appetite for risk, and he's doing stuff like that, right? Not necessarily with you, but probably maybe a little bit of that with you. In no way, shape, or form does Tom move stop loss to break even, and only then adds. Yeah. So there are traders who do that. You can look. Adding is. There's many ways to do that, right? You can add. You don't need to add skyscraper style. You don't need to add 100% on top. You can just add a little bit. You can also say, okay, I'm running a business here. So we are now long the DAX, flipping. How much was that? Unfortunately, minus 51.4. And we are now long the DAX. So you can add a little bit. You can reinvest sort of, right? Profit that you have locked in by moving stop loss into profit. But the way Tom adds is 100% on top, skyscraper style, boom, 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 right? So. Hopefully we don't get a double whammy now, but hey, it's what it is. So 26,262.8 stop loss is down here, 26 to 12.7. Hopefully this wasn't a shakeout. T. Kruger, third, fifth minute bar is a volume order block. Don't know what that means. No idea what that means, my friend. No idea. Don't use volume. Roberto. Roberto from Italy. Hi, I'm Roberto from Italy. After reading Tom's book, it should be the gospel of traders. I'm following you, trying not to be influenced. I have my own technique that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, sometimes wins, sometimes doesn't. I'm trying to become a good loser, and it's wonderful to see serious people like you who have learned to do it. You're number one, or rather two, after Tom. There are no real number ones. Great and thank you. I hope I wrote well. My English sucks. Ciao. Your English is excellent, brother, and I appreciate that. Edin, come on. Don't need to apologize. You know, in this case, you know, guess what? You were closer to what happened with your analysis than I was, right? So I was just a little bit unhappy about that. That's okay. We can have some robust discussion. I still love you all lots. Johan says I can brush this off with the Wednesday excuse. Wednesdays is true, is Wednesday, right? Today is Wednesday. Wednesdays are historically my worst trading days, and that's where I trade live with you guys on the regular. Ah. So, Angie, good morning, Mr. Andy. Look at the Dow futures. It turned red and now is green again. I always follow the US futures, and that helps me a lot, especially S&P and the Nasdaq. The Amis usually don't allow the DAX to fall like a stone. Yeah, well, my take on that is if you look at the where is it? Indices, US. So let's take the US 500 futures chart. So since you referred it, usually the futures chart doesn't look. Oh no, sorry, I moved the stop loss. Something like that. Usually the futures chart doesn't look different to the DAX chart because those markets in the US are not open. It's very thinly traded right now, and Europe is in the lead. So usually those indices, they mimic the DAX. That's what I found, but maybe if they don't, that might give us some information. It sucks to try to do the right thing, add to your winners, then that thing reverses on you. Okay, you flip, and now is no follow through yet. I mean, the bulls even closed slightly above yesterday's closing price. Luca, Andy, hello, I'm following you while trading. Is it possible writing during the working sessions? What? Is it possible writing during the working sessions? I don't know what that means, Luca. Sorry, I don't know what that means. Woo, Shinzi, would you agree that it's bloody extremely difficult right now in the markets? Like, yeah, I'm struggling here a little bit. Bloody hell. Oh, fucking zigzags. Exactly. Andy, what's your opinion on this? Harmonic retracements. Yeah, now we're talking. Harmonics, huh? The problem is you mixed up something that happened inside and outside the cash session, right? So this market just opened at 9. So if you choose to take into consideration what happened before the open, well, just mind you, there is less volume behind that. So I have no clear opinion on that because sometimes I also take the overnight into consideration. Sometimes I don't. Just be aware that when the cash market is open, when the DAX is open, there is much more volume behind. And if you only look at cash sessions, all those candles here, wherever they come from, whatever the broker shows you, they don't exist. Yeah, well, you don't need to close everything just because I said that, but if you are in a look, I had yesterday a US session where I made points with you, made some money, but I was twice in a position and I closed it again. And once I closed it because I was just like, maybe I shouldn't be in this trade anymore. Like the original premise of that trade disappeared, and I was, and in a situation like that, there's two ways to look at it. You can say you don't know what's going to happen anyway, right? So you're in, your risk is defined, you have your stop loss in place, hopefully. So you might as well roll with it. And guess what? If I rolled with it, would have been not the worst of ideas, but I chose to close it at a loss. Not full stop loss hit, but at a loss. So, and I think that's the better and healthier way. If you feel like, okay, you shouldn't be in there, or you made a mistake, it's better to close it. You closed it earlier because it broke your harmonic lines. Anyway, Angie says, thank you so much for looking into the S&P chart. You might be right, but I could also be. Of course. We would have to really have to look at that. I did for a while with the Dow Jones. And the Dow Jones and the S&P, you might agree that the charts often look similar, very similar. Dow Jones and the DAX, they basically usually make the same movements during the EU session. Dow chart looks pretty much mimics what the DAX is doing, and the closer we get to the US Open, the more that changes. And then clearly, when the US is open, it's the other way around. Okay. Come on, bulls push. Push, 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 push. Gintz from Latvia asks, hello, why you stop trading conventional patterns like reversal patterns? Wish you a great day. Because there is a lot of bias in that, right? There's a lot of bias in that, and the moment you draw diagonal lines, you tend to put your bias in that. So horizontal lines or levels, they're a little bit... I mean, there's no two ways at looking at that. You know, the previous session low is that, overnight high is that, close is that. No, that's it. Joe, DAX kicking my ass past 3 days. Sorry to hear that. But summer markets are not easy to trade. So it's slowly grinding. Now there were 2 pushes. Maybe that's all we get. However, bars here, they all have some overlap, so that we now get clean continuation. It would also be wishful thinking. The old guy. Hi, Andy. Can I ask how many trades do you average per day? 20 to 30. Leg 2 down now, asks Rory. Ooh. FTSE is coming back up. I mean, that's can't call that a leg anymore. Look how deep that would have retraced. That is just like... That's very deep. It's like 80%. I mean, happens. It's not like it doesn't. Do I have here... I don't know. What is there? Why didn't it take my 80? Anyway. Yeah, I mean, can be the deepest retracement, and then, yep, we go back down. Fuck, this sucks. But support is down here. So I was hoping that we would go back down here and go back up, and that we would take profit maybe around 175. That was what I hoped. This is not what happened. And to make things worse, we flipped long here, and now we're in a long position. That doesn't look good. There's 1, 2, 3 bear bars and only 1, 2 bull bars on the 15-minute. Well, maybe. Can also measure this here. This, however, that would be a great story. We would have a 38.2% retracement. This being the swing low. Now we push up. So all the measured moves and harmonic guys. Okay. It would get us up to where the espresso long would have triggered. Interesting. Maybe there's some maybe it's coincidence. Who? So another Luca from Italy. So come and stay, so we trade together. I'm near Lake of Como. Wonderful piece of Como Lake. Wow, that's a fantastic piece of nature. USA, a super trend setting. 10.3 to catch right movements. That's the idea. Lago di Como. Of course, Don Quinshot just said that the aggressive adding from Tom is not for everyone. Yeah, well, but that's how he trades, right? And he makes money. So I'm of two hearts here. If you show beginners how to trade, should you show them how to make money in the markets by adding to winners? I believe you should. However, the increased exposure comes also at a risk, right? So I don't know. The notion that somehow less risk is better. Would have to think of it. I when I'm trading by myself, I'm adding a little bit more aggressively with you guys. I also do that, but maybe to a lesser extent. I have to think about it. What's the right way? Manu, hi Andy, how do you deal mentally with such a session which mostly against your expectation? I mean, all your pre-reading and support lines were correct. How do you clean your mind before the US session? I go to the gym, brother. That's it. Lift some weights. And that's it. Look, I fire. One guy asked here, one gentleman asked how many trades I take per day. I said between 20 and 30. You can take a look here. It's no secret. Right here. Here I took a couple less trades. But I'm taking a lot of trades. So what if I lose on one or two, right? That's part of the game. So Tom's book is called Best Loser Wins, my friend. So as soon as you accept with every fiber of your body that you possibly can't know what's going to happen. Now the earlier you probably reach your goals. Like I can't know that this is happening. Right? I mean, you get bar number 3, making a new low, closing the its high. Then you have perfect follow through, a perfect bull bar, not on a 1 minute chart, a 15-minute chart, closed at its highs, closed above yesterday's closing price, triggered the school run. Yeah. And now bears are in charge again. Nope. So was my execution bad? No, it wasn't. I don't believe it was. What could I have done differently? So let's look at that. I stopped myself out here, taking a small loss. It's really more or less just a scratch. Then I shorted the DAX. That was super okay, right? At that point here. And I added on the school run here. And then it reversed. And it reversed so well that I had to do something. So I closed this here. My first entry to the best of my ability. Ideally for 0, but hey, that was already reversing hard. So, and then that got stopped out. And then, yeah, and after that, you flip long. And there's just no follow through. So, is the DAX heading lower? I don't know. FTSE isn't so far. Maybe it will. Maybe we need a retest here of Friday's session high. Before it goes back up. Context is bullish. Just this session. So far, what is that? You have more bear bars than bull bars, and we clearly so far. Have two swings. Oh, that made a lower low. It's made a lower high. So far, we are in a downtrend, right? Or in a range that has the characteristics of a bear channel. Yeah. So far, two bull bars are basically sandwiched in between two bear bars each. There's very little red and very little blue and a lot of red here. Why is the context bullish? How do you define that? Well, how do you define that? I mean, look at a higher time frame. What more do you need, my friend? Yeah. Here on the daily, for example, in the daily we are in an uptrend, right? We are making higher highs and higher lows. We had 3 consecutive green days. And up here, all-time highs, right? Yesterday, we had a trend day, pushed up here, right? So why would we trade back down here? To me, that context is bullish. However, we opened pretty neutral, but also not gap down or anything. So you see here, that's Friday's high. I marked that in green. Market tried to break through, managed that yesterday. So maybe we get a retest, but I was hoping for my short positions. And from there, that would be the buy that we then continue higher, right? So now the question is, if that story is true, will that retest still happen? Or is that whole thing invalidated? Not yet, right? So still need to get there. If we break through and lower there, then it's invalidated. Yeah. If you look at this session, the session itself, cash session that started at 9 so far is not bullish, is bearish, right? So this year was a good candle for the bulls, but no follow through so far. However, bears did manage to close below 5 on the 6th 15-minute bar. Now let's see. If we get back up here. So, hope that helps. Carlos has a great trading track record for August. Lots of green here. Well done, my friend. No, yours look pretty good already. Yeah. So ARC Obina from Nigeria. Hi Andy, I love the way you pronounce every name according to their accents. You're mega lively soul and fun to be with. Your wife and daughter are very lucky to have you. Thanks for all, and Tom does. It's our absolute pleasure. So, thank you for that lovely comment. Don Quinshot, who gave a really thoughtful remark here about adding and whether that aggressive style of Tom is beginner friendly or not. Now he says, I enjoy Tom's approach. That is what I aspire to. I add to my positions, but not as aggressively as Tom, which I would like to do. I think his approach is incredible, but I think it takes a time to get anywhere near that level. I think your approach, which is more controlled when you are trading publicly with us, is excellent, and you answer more questions on a wider range of topics. Keep up the good work. Oh, I appreciate that. Well, but Tom is the OG, right? The OG. If you want the OG, I'm just a humble Padawan. So, Julian, I have this idea because he did not really manipulate up there in the daily FVG. What is an FVG? Please tell me what an FVG is. I don't know what that is. Ah, fair value gap. ICT concepts, right? Yeah, we don't do that here at Tom Hougaard's trading room. We don't do that. It's all repackaged old school stuff that the gentleman teaches. So, hi Andy, how are you and Tom? Tom sent a pool picture yesterday to me. It seems to be fine. I'm good. Just please, I have one question for school run after the break will occur. God, we were back at entry. Really would need the bulls to push. Sorry, my friend, I will go back to that. See how this level here, or this area here, how bears are defending it, how the wicks are pointing here, and the bodies are all almost at the same height. Bulls trying, and the bears pushing it down immediately. See that here? But probably a buff here will add. Our position is back at entry. So Mustafa, my friend. So for school run after the break will occur, it shows the wick of the candle breaks, which could be only fake out. What do I do? It now switch to lines. I notice like this, it may help. Just want to know what you think, brother. Second picture lines you can see it's not real breakout. The lines didn't break. Oh. Yeah. Might be, might not be, my friend. Basically, when you trade the school run, traditional school run, that's a breakout strategy, right? So you're trading breakouts, and the breakout is over the second 15-minute bar, which occurred, right? But bears are defending this level very, very much. Look at that again. Bulls keep pushing, huh? Yeah, usually a breakout. So there's many ways to take a breakout. When we trade the school run, usually we trade the break directly, right? But of course, you can also wait that you get a close or a couple of closes, above or below that breakout level, yeah. Or you can wait for a retest, and you can add layers of confirmation to that, but they will cost you points, my friend. So that's the thing. So I prefer to take everything directly, and should it be right, simply have made more money. The question is, will this break, or will the bulls give up at one point? Hmm. Juliana was like, okay, I'm new here, interesting. Yeah, well, do you mix all techniques, or how do you analyze the chart just in the moment and behavior of the candles and actual trend? Yeah, well, I look at structure, I look at price action, and I trade here something that Tom Hougaard is known for, which is called situational analysis. It's a discretionary mix of that. But welcome to the channel. Maybe take a look at the resource channel of old recordings, see how Tom trades. There's tons of material here. It's all for free. £80 range, says Ali. Karaoke, hi Andy, will the price action be more moving with conviction from September when there's more money in the market? Yeah, summer markets usually. I have never done any research on that, but now I'm in this game for a couple of years. There's a reason why Tom usually closes the channel during summer for a couple of weeks, because there's not so much happening in the markets anyway. It's pretty slow. You get shit like that. Okay. Yes, you're right. Okay. Come on, bulls. Okay. Boom. Doubled up on the DAX. Doubled up on the DAX. Stop is 50 points lower, 26 to 19.3. Okay, here we go. So again here, I traded the break directly. See, I just put an order there that got filled. Not waiting for confirmation. That might be a little bit too aggressive in a slow market. We might double top here with today's highs. But hey, guess what? I'm thinking we're moving higher now. So also, we will get a brunch break signal. Oh, those drawing tools are really... Look, I learned something. Maybe there's some follow through now. If there is a pullback, however, how bad would it be? Yeah, and would still be safe. That would be very slow. It's a long session, very boring, and unfortunately we're behind. Chris, hi Andy, adding aggressively is the quickest way to get gray hair in one day. I60RR, a personal account from $100 to $6,000 in one session. In gold, lots of cortisol spikes in the body and brain, left me brain damage. Oh, well done. This is it's absolutely crazy what you did there, brother. Amazing. I think I close everything intraday, so. But I believe the best that I made probably was in the Dow Jones, was some sell-off. A couple thousand points. It was crazy. Those days happen. But you have to have conviction, right? And to pull the trigger. And if your nervous system isn't prepared for that, yeah, well. We just get a push higher, please. Of course, I'm now, I would be adding into resistance. Here's the, this day's high, so we might double top here. If you don't want to do that, don't do that, right? But I'm doing that. So, okay. Julian, Tom hasn't written a trading book yet. Like a technical book, right? But in his resource channel, you find a lot of material, research and description of entry techniques, and a lot of documents that Tom has shared with the public. Go to tradertom.com, click on live trading, and here you find resource channel. Have to be really careful that we're not double topping here. Just hoping for another push. Not that this have another pullback here. Oh, that would be ugly. I would at least love to get back up here. Overnight high. There you go. So, lots of risk, ladies and gentlemen. Why is summer market? Well, summer market not easy to trade. It's winter here in Australia, also not easy to trade. don't know actually why that is. It's just thin volume. So when there's fewer buyers and sellers, fewer contracts traded, then it's slower, and you get more chop, get more overlap. Buyers and sellers are basically in agreement. The few of them who are there, right? There's no real euphoric or panic movement there. But why that? I mean, why that is right now? Historically, that would have made sense, but now all the trading is basically probably 80% or so. It's probably algorithmic, or as Al Brooks says, computers. No. Do you also journal every trade? Like, what's the entry strategy, exit strategy? What's the behavior during holding the position? I journal every trade, but I don't care about technicals. I care about why, for example, why did I add so aggressively here? Was I hoping to make my money back? Do I want it at equilibrium so bad? Right, stuff like that. Eric says, you're taking it as a champ. Let's not forget Wednesdays are not your favorites. That's true. And right now, all three positions are underwater. Just fucking hell. So we double topped, right? Nah. This looks like the hell of a Wyckoff spring. Could be blowing up the page. Yeah, that would be great. Renas, can you share that picture of Tom adding with me? If it of now it's not okay. Not at liberty to share what Tom is sending me. That was just something I had at hand. I just wanted to give you an example. So, hi Andy, have you had trading mistakes early in your career? Yeah, I mean, you're looking at one right now, you could argue. But you only know that with perfect hindsight, right? Yeah, how to get rid of bad trading habits, right? That's a good question. You probably want to have something like a book of horror, and then look at the shit that you've been doing. Before your trading session, and that to prime yourself to not be that guy anymore. Guys, we have been been streaming for 2 hours. This position looks very dangerous. And fortunately have to do something about it again. What to do? What if we move all our stops below this swing here? Yeah. So all stops too. Johan wants me double down. Well, close it and go short, huh? Says Rory. No, I'm not going to do that. But maybe would be the best, huh? So I Maybe I should run away at the top as Robert here suggested. Ay. Guys, I will update you on this position. We've been streaming for over 2 hours. I think I have held you here long enough. If this is too much risk for you, maybe close 1 or 2 positions or close it all here. I will try to manage it by myself. Stop sign place. So, thank you very much. Has been a pleasure. And see you back for the US session if you want.